This is going to be a video to help you find the missing angle in a right triangle when you know two of the side lengths. Now in order to do that, I'm going to have to use the trig functions that we learned, and we learned them by using the phrase or remembering the phrase SOHCAHTOA. Now what does SOHCAHTOA mean? It means if I know the sine of an angle, that's going to be the same as the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is going to be the same as the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. And the tangent of an angle is going to be equal to the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Now how can I tell which sides I'm using? If this is my triangle and this is my angle alpha, the side opposite is going to be across from that angle. My hypotenuse on a right triangle is always going to be across from the right angle. Adjacent means right next to. If this is my angle alpha, the leg that makes up the angle is going to be the adjacent side. So in this case, the adjacent side is going to be right here. In the triangle I'm trying to find alpha in, I know the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. Since I know adjacent and hypotenuse, I'm going to use a trig function, cosine. So I'm going to write that down as cosine alpha is going to be the same as 16 over 25, because 16 is the adjacent side, and 28, is going to be the hypotenuse. Now in math, if I want to undo addition, I subtract. If I want to undo multiplication, I divide. If I want to undo squaring something, I take the square root of that same number. If I want to undo finding the cosine of a number, I'm going to take the cosine inverse of that same thing. I want to solve for alpha in this problem. So in order to do that, I've got to get rid of the cosine. I'm going to do that by undoing cosine. And the way I do that in math is by taking the cosine inverse of that side. But if I take the cosine inverse of the left side of the equation, I've got to take the cosine inverse of the right side of the equation also. After the cosine inverse and cosine cancel each other out on the left side of the inverse, or the left side of the equation, I'm going to be just left with alpha. And that's going to be the same as cosine inverse of 16 divided by 28. Now to solve for this, I'm going to use a calculator. I'm going to go and hit inverse cosine, and then I'm going to go 16 divided by 28, and then I hit the equal sign, and it's going to be equal to 55.15. So in this problem, I know that alpha is equal to 55.15 degrees.